Howdy folks, it's Jam here. I hope everyone's doing great. Today guys, I want to talk about one of my favorite games that just came out
and has been very popular.
Marvel Rivals. If you've been living on a rock, that's okay. Let me give a quick explanation on what Marvel Rivals is. Marvel Rivals is a third-person shooter game where you play as very well-known characters in Marvel, but also very obscure characters in Marvel. Characters like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, etc. You know, those very well-known guys. But you also have obscure characters like Cloak and Dagger, Angela, and Little Snow. The thing I love about this game is it introduces very obscure characters not a lot of people know about, and I wanted to add my own concepts and basically like a wish list of characters I would like to see in the future. I do want to give a quick disclaimer that these characters are obscure and I had to do a lot of research, so if you're a super fan and if I miss anything or anything you think they should have in their kit, do let me know. But with that out the way,
Sit back, relax, grab your favorite snack, and let's get started.
in Marvel Rivals, you have three primary roles you can play. You have duelists, vanguards, and strategists. As this video is being recorded, duelists in the game have the most characters, so it makes sense to get them out the way.
So if you're not familiar with a duelist is a high damage dealing character. Usually they do the final takedowns for any enemies or doing the most damage. So with that out the way,
My first pick for a duelist is Reptile. Reptile is a 16-year-old hero with the ability to become any dinosaur. And when I say any dinosaur, I mean any dinosaur. I feel like he will work perfectly for Rivals, because for starters, he's very obscure. And like I mentioned earlier, Rivals love using obscure characters. And my first ever introduction to him was Marvel Superhero Squad, which I watched when I was very little. I always knew he was a character, I could never properly remember him. But until I watched this video by this person, where they used the Marvel Superhero Squad theme song for a Rivals trailer, and I decided, hey, I haven't thought about that show in a while, and there's some obscure characters I could use from it. So I decided to use Reptile as one of my first picks, and he was very utilized in that show. So yeah. So with his ability to become any dinosaur, which fun fact, I really like dinosaurs, he works best as a duelist. Some people might say he works better as a vanguard, but I think he'll do better as a duelist, and plus it's my concept, so yeah. With that out the way, let's get into his primary, his abilities, his passives, and his ultimate. For his primary attack, Reptile will do 2 quick slashes and off with 1 big slash. With that, let's get into his first ability, Hard-Headed. He will turn into a Pachylosaurus or a Triceratops. Both work perfectly for the concept. Basically, it's a crowd movement control ability. Not a lot of duelists have that, where they're able to do a lot of crowd control. They're more better off at picking out the backline, which I should know as a strategist player. But yes, basically he'll do a quick dash dealing a good amount of damage, but not heavy enough damage to knock out enemies. But then like Cap's little dash shield mixed with Angela's spear piercing ability. He will run into the opponent, not only just knocking them away, but doing a little bit of damage as well. I'll probably say the cooldown will be around 25 to 30 seconds, because he'll have bonus health. For his second ability, Ankylo Slam. He'll turn into an Ankylosaurus and do a dash slam, kind of similar to Black Panther's or Blade, where you'll be able to do a little dash forward and move in any direction. For his third ability, Let's Get Digging, similar to Jeff's hide and seek ability, you will have fast movement by burying under the ground, but not only just fast movement, but also 5 seconds of invulnerability, so the same duration time, in a way. You will not be able to use any of your abilities once you go underground, but you will get invulnerability for 5 seconds, so that will be the trade-off. Now, for his ultimate, Jurassic Fury. Reptile turns into either a T-Rex or a Brachiosaurus and starts stomping and swinging around the battlefield, which also in fact will destroy any nearby destructible buildings. This ultimate will end off with a big gigantic stomp, stunning any nearby enemies in the radius. Now, with everything else out the way, we cannot forget about his passive. His passive, called Prehistoric Instinct, is where every round is 2 randomized abilities. For his first ability, he gets Spinosaurus Claws, and it does 5% more damage. Then for his second option, he gets automatic bonus health. And no, this doesn't stack on top when you use Hard-Headed. That extra bonus health will not stack. It will just relatively stay the same. So, with that out the way, let's move on to our next character. You just might need to be lucky enough to know this next character. For my next pick for a duelist is Domino. Domino is a mercenary from X-Men comics. She has the unique mutant power of probability manipulation, which essentially gives her good luck and causes bad luck for her opponents. I feel like she would work best as a duelist, similar to Black Widow and Punisher, but with her own unique, lucky, and chaotic style. Her primary fire will be her dual pistols. She'll have around, let's say 40, or maybe even 35 ammo, and have a faster reload speed. For her first ability, called Ricochet, when activated, one of her bullets can ricochet off the walls or floors. This ricocheting bullet has a 50% chance to land a critical headshot. Even if it doesn't land a headshot, it will still do double damage with the ability being activated. So, with that, let's get into our second ability, Lucky Movement. With Lucky Movement, this is a quick dash that ends off in a slide. Any character hit by the slide is knocked back. It kind of works similar to Soldier 76 from Overwatch, another hero-based shooter game. Basically, it will have her do a quick dash, run, and do a potential stun, having a 70% chance to stun any enemy. For her third ability, Lucky Bomb, she throws a bomb at an enemy and applies a random effect. It could slow them down, make them emote, or even temporarily disable one of their abilities for 5 to 10 seconds. The possibilities are endless. You have to let me know in the comments what you think it could do. Now, for her ultimate, which I'm calling My Lucky Day. For 10 seconds, Domino will not take any damage. It will gain a small stat buff. Any allies around her during this will have an instant ult charge. Any opponents around her during her ultimate will completely have their ultimate stopped for 10 seconds. And it will have a random effect on them. So with that out of the way, her passive would be My Lucky Day. Similar to Jeff's, she won't be able to take any critical headshots. So I think that's all about it, really. Oh wait, I forgot. She'll have a team up ability with Wolverine and Psylocke, and then eventually, whenever they add Deadpool to the game, oh, that Merc with the mouth. But yeah, don't get me wrong, I do like Deadpool's character. He's very funny, and he's one of my favorite complex characters in all of fiction. But yeah, it would definitely be called X-Force, if I'll be honest. I don't know a whole lot about X-Force. Just know that it was more like a special ops for the X-Men. So that's all I have. So with that out the way, next character, he's really big in Brooklyn. He's not like the other guy in Queens. You know him, you love him, and if you're a big fan like me, you watched the first 2 movies and can't wait for the third one that comes out. It's Miles Morales, the Spider-Man of Brooklyn. He is my third and final pick for a duelist. I feel like he has the most likely chance to be in the game. With all the timeline and multiverse shenanigans going on with the 2 Dooms, Miles is different enough from Peter that he won't be a complete copy and paste. And let's face it, he'll probably be less annoying to play against. Bro, can somebody get this Spider-Man? Spider-Man! Peter, leave me alone! So yeah, with that out the way, his melee is just iconic punches, similar to Peter, but let's see what makes him different enough from Peter. Let's get into his abilities. His first ability, Venom Blade. We have to give him his iconic Venom sword from the comics. I mean, look at this thing. Some people may not like it, but I do. It's really cool to see his electrical powers be used for something else. So yeah, basically, with his Venom sword, it works best as a melee attack, with Miles doing a couple swings similar to Blade's sword. He'll have a small chance of stunning the enemy because, well, electricity. I don't know what you're thinking, because it's electricity, it has electrical powers. So yeah, For his second ability, we have to give him the iconic web swing. This allows him to get to point A and point B faster. It's self-explanatory, you can't have a Spider-Man character without it. His third ability is Venom Webs. He can shoot webs like Peter, but once you land 3 out of 5 hits, you will have a chance to stun the enemy. This is a good mix-up tool, kind of like a mix of Web Fire and Peter's Get Over Here ability, stunning the enemy for about 5 to 10 seconds, so Miles can get his combo off. He also have a fourth ability. His fourth ability is a double jump, just like Peter, that gives him more movement options. This lets him get around much faster so he can web swing and jump to even get more momentum. And lastly, Static Shock. Miles' body hums with electricity as he deals and takes damage. He builds up a charge of bioelectricity. Once the charge is full, he can release a small directional burst of energy from his hands or all around him, which deals minor damage to any enemies hit and briefly stuns them. For his ultimate, it's the Venom Punch. Taking inspiration from Spider-Man 2, where Miles and Peter were heavily used in that game, but Miles had a lot of cool abilities I could pull from. If you're on the ground, Miles punches forward with a massive electrical burst, stunning any nearby enemy's counter radius. And if you're in the air, comes crashing down into the ground, stunning any enemies calling that blast as well. Now for his passive. He has 3. The first 2 are the iconic wall crawling and Spidey sense. His last one is the most important. He has the ability to become invisible, similar to Invisible Woman. This allows Miles to be undetected by any nearby enemies. So, with that out the way, with all our duelists done and over with, let's move on to the next role, the strategist. In Rivals, when you play as a strategist, I should know as a strategist player myself, I play Cloak and Dagger and Rocket, and basically the whole rogue category other than Ultron and Luna Snow. But with that out the way, basically your main role is to keep the team healthy. You heal them over time or provide them buffs as well. Any critical damage done to your allies, you can heal it out. That's basically what a strategist does. We currently need more as a strategist player base because there's not a lot of options, and I would dearly appreciate we have some more options. So with my genius master keys, I have 3 characters that we can use. So with that, let's get into it. Our first character is Vision. Vision is a synthetic android who looks like a human, but he isn't. He still feels emotions like any human, and he will work best as a strategist with his ability to phase and use his solar stone, that little gem in his forehead. So with that, his primary fire is a long-range beam at his opponents. Simple enough, am I right? For his first ability, it's his iconic Destiny Manipulation. Vision can phase through solid walls, floors, and even opponents. Any opponents he phases through get a small temporary debuff. He can also temporarily phase out one teammate at a time to make them invulnerable for a short time. Now, his second ability, which I'll call Solar Shield, gives any of his allies a bubble of healing, similar to Magneto's bubble. Any ally you select gets the bubble. You can have up to 2 bubbles for each character. So, with that, for his last ability, it's called Self-Repair. Since his other abilities don't really allow him to heal himself, this gives him the ability to heal himself. I know a lot of healers in the game don't really have the ability to heal themselves other than Loki, Rocket, and Jeff, and Invisible Woman, but I think this will fit him very well with this character. So yeah. Now, for his ultimate! Solar Shockwave. From all the energy building up inside of his solar gem, he releases a huge shockwave that buffs allies and nerfs enemies in its radius. Vision won't get any buffs from this, but it will heavily benefit his allies, heavily disadvantaging his enemies. Finally, for his passive, he has the ability to fly. It's kind of self-explanatory, but I can only imagine the interactions he'll have with Wanda, Tony, Ultron, and maybe even Ant-Man if he ever gets added to the game. And I know he will definitely have some funny interactions with Spidey too. Moving on to our next character, we're about to head out to space for this one. Maybe you should grab a bone to throw. Cosmo the Space Dog, also known as the goodest girl in space, is my second pick for a strategist. With her telekinesis, She works best as a strategist character. It's a bad day for a space squirrel when a dog has telekinesis, am I right? But with that, let's get into her abilities. For her primary fire, similar to Emma's and a mixture of Jeff's, she'll have a telepathical blast. This wouldn't necessarily need to reload, but for balancing reasons, we'll probably say it'll have about 45 rounds. But this will allow her to heal any nearby allies and doing damage to any enemies in front of her. For her first ability, Cosmic Relay, Cosmo creates a psionic beacon that links teammates' health. Similar to Adam's Warlock's Soul Bomb, if any other strategist characters use their healing abilities on that beacon, it will heal the whole team. The only trade-off is the cooldown's about 50 or 40 seconds, which still is a long time. Now, for her second ability, Sabri Bark, this allows Cosmo to telepathically bark to heal an ally and provide a movement speed burst and a damage buff. Think like Jeff's Bubbles, but with a twist. For her last ability, Pa Existence, this gives Cosmo overhealth and 85 soul healing over time. So the more damage an enemy does, the more overhealth she will have over time. You'll get 85 health back. The ability lasts for 7 to 8 seconds, but I'll probably boost it up to 10. And it has a 20-second cooldown, which isn't a lot, but I feel like in a stressful situation, it can also get you out of a tough spot. So it's a fair trade. With that out the way, let's get into her ultimate, which I'll be calling Wolf Radiant Howl. Based on a Wolf Radiant star, this ability will allow Cosmo to grant any teammates nearby or in the radius the ability to see enemies highlighted through walls. It also gives her not only herself a 15% damage boost, but her allies as well. Her ultimate will also put any nearby enemies on the opposite team on a 8-second ultimate lockdown. Lastly, her passive, which I'm calling Cosmic Smell. This allows Cosmo to see any enemies that are highlighted through the walls or any characters that are invisible, along with any traps like Penny's Mines, for example. With that, let's move into our last and my second favorite pick for a strategist. You might need some military experience and a white gooey companion for this one. Agent Anti-Venom. Once Peter Parker's bully and now a soldier turned super soldier, was it the Anti-Venom symbiote is my third and final pick for a strategist. He's one of my favorite characters who isn't a Spider-Man or woman, and I always loved his design. My idea for him is that he's more of a damage-focused strategist, kind of like Mantis is able to get critical hits, which I forever will never understand, but I feel like he will still have plenty of ways to heal himself and his team. His primary fire will be his iconic multi-gun, with about 50 or 70 rounds, but he also has the ability to switch to an iconic symbiote blade. For his first ability, Anti-Grenade. He throws a white grenade. It heals his allies and himself for 75 HP over time. Any enemies caught in the blast will get a healing reduction for 5 seconds. His second ability, Regenerative Touch, allows him to send out tendrils to any nearby allies. If hit, it will give them a healing buff, similar to Venom's tendrils, but the opposite. Instead of damaging nearby enemies, he'll be healing his allies instead, allowing them to get a quick heal for about 10 to 20 seconds. Now, for his third ability, Symbiotic Dash, this allows him to basically run to any nearby allies to give them a quick heal, or to get out any sticky situations. I'll probably say it's a little bit faster than Captain America's little dash he can do, but it won't cross the map in 2 seconds. It'll still take you a good minute to get there, but you'll be fast enough to get out of any tight spots. Now, for his ultimate, which I'm calling Symbiote Armory. This ultimate will be similar to Punisher, doing a lot of damage, but with a twist. Tendrils will come out of his back, throwing healing grenades to any nearby ally, healing them for 80 instead of that usual 75. And yes, let's get into his passive. His first passive is wall crawling, just like Spidey and Venom. His second one is a healing factor. The idea kind of comes from the fact that some healer characters can't always heal themselves. I'm looking at you, Luna and Mantis. And yes, even you too, Ultron. I think it will definitely work though. Well, with that out of the way, all our strategies are done. Let's move on to our Vanguards. Vanguards are the tanks, the damage takers. They basically help do crowd control and help the team make it to the front lines. So these three characters I have work perfect for Vanguards. So with that, let's get into our first character, Slapstick. Slapstick is a prankster turned hero and is my first pick for Vanguard. To be honest, I never heard of him before, but I really liked his character and his powers. After doing the research, he works really great for rivals actually, and he works best as a Vanguard with his moveset. So with that out the way, let's get into his primary attack. His primary attack would be him swinging his large cartoonish mallet. This mallet has a small chance to stun any enemies. For his first ability, kaboom! Slapstick can throw a comedically large pie-shaped bomb to deal damage to opponents in the area. And I even like the idea that he'll be able to play ping pong with the pie with his cartoonish nature with his mallet. For his second ability, Cartoonish Hunger, this ability allows Slapstick to negate all damage from any enemies. So, any projectiles thrown at him, any traps, will be completely inhaled by Slapstick. This works like his own shield, but the trade-off is about a 10-second cooldown, which isn't a lot, but I feel like it's kind of fair. For his third ability, called Unstable Molecules, this allows Slapstick to gain extra bonus health. Kind of like Venom team up with Invisible Woman. Basically, if you have a full health bar, you get extra health, but if your health is going down, you pop this ability and you'll be able to heal over time. And whatever health you do lose will be replaced with bonus health. Now, for his ultimate, which I'll be calling Cartoonish Mayhem. This basically allows Slapstick to start going ham and make a fight cloud. Any enemy dragged into this fight cloud will have multiple things thrown at them, from anvils being dropped to lightning strikes. The possibilities are endless. With his ultimate out the way, let's get into his passive. I have two names for it. You guys can decide in the comments. The first one is Toon Force in Rubber Hose Body. I can't choose between the names, but basically, since he's like a cartoon character, he cannot take any critical hits or headshots. So with that all said and done, next up, we're going to have to go to a secret base under the Mariana Trench. Blue Marvel, a brilliant Korean war veteran who becomes a superhero powered by antimatter, is my second pick for Vanguard. Before this, I didn't know who he was, but I took the time to do the research, and I hope I can honor his character well. With that out the way, let's get into his abilities. His primary fire is an antimatter energy beam from his hands. This is a short to mid-range beam to a single enemy. For his first ability, Antimatter Field, Blue Marvel creates a protective antimatter shield around himself and multiple allies. His second ability is called Quantum Shortcut. This lets him teleport a short distance in any direction, perfect for getting in and out of a tough spot. Also, I like the idea of him being able to teleport an ally out of a bad situation, or to create a new location. A Vanguard's main job is crowd control, isn't it? So why not have it where he can help out an ally instead of just brute forcing it? Next up, his third ability, Antimatter Orb. Blue Marvel charges a focused orb of antimatter in his hands and throws it at a target. The orb detonates on impact, causing a powerful explosion that deals high burst damage in a small radius. Any enemies caught in the main blast are briefly pushed away from the center of the explosion. Now, his ultimate, which I'm calling Negative Matter Collapse. Blue Marvel creates a powerful antimatter vortex at this target location. After a short amount of time, let's say about 5 to 8 seconds, the vortex collapses on itself, dealing massive damage to all enemies within its radius. Enemies closer to the center of the vortex take even more damage. The ultimate also applies a strong pull effect to enemies, dragging them towards the center before the final collapse. Now, with that out the way, lastly, his passive, which I'm calling Kinetic Core. Blue Marvel's command of antimatter allows him to store and unleash kinetic energy. Each time he takes damage, he builds up a charge. When this energy reaches its maximum, his next primary fire or ability consumes the charge to deal a medium to high amount of bonus damage and be able to slow the enemy for a short duration. Well,
Was me honoring Blue Marble and everything he did, do the research, wink wink, and with him out of the way, let's get to his next character. This character is a feral and savage one.
Sabretooth, also known as the arch nemesis and complete opposite to Wolverine. He is my third and final pick as a Vanguard. I had to get at least one villain in here, so I picked Sabretooth. But with his introduction out the way, let's get into his primary attack, which will be called Vicious Claws. This allows Sabretooth to do 2 quick slashes and then end it off with one final big slash. The third hit will have him doing a powerful lunging strike that deals bonus damage. For his first ability, Savage Pounce, Sabretooth crouches low and then leaps forward a good distance. If he lands on an enemy, he deals a good amount of damage, briefly stuns them, staggering them and making them vulnerable to his follow-up attacks. For his second ability, Predatory Howl, this allows Sabretooth to release a deafening howl. This roar can briefly disorient and slow enemies caught in the blast, reducing their attack speed and making them easier for you and your team to hit. This is his main crowd control ability. Use this to disrupt any enemy that attack you and give your team an advantage. For his last ability, Scent of Fear, Sabretooth uses his enhanced senses to allow him to pinpoint any nearby enemies. He targets a single enemy, marking them with the Scent of Fear for a short time. While marked, the enemy's damage output is reduced, and Sabretooth can attack them, doing a small amount of bonus damage. Now, for his ultimate, called Unrelenting Predator. This allows Sabretooth to enter a sadistic primal state. This sadistic primal state grants him a significant boost to his health and a major increase to his attack speed. While this ability is active, every hit with Vicious Claws grants him a small amount of damage as health, making him extremely difficult to take down. With his ultimate out of the way, let's get into his passive. It's just the basic killing factor. I mean, it can't get any simpler than that. But anyway, let me explain a little bit more about the healing factor. Whenever Sabretooth is out of combat and hasn't taken any damage for a few seconds, he begins to regenerate health at a somewhat slowly but rapid rate. This passive ensures that he can quickly recover from skirmishes and get back into the front lines without needing constant support from his strategists. So with that out the way, I think we're done. Huh? Whoa! Wait, we have special guests that want to help or will help with being thrown into all these multiverse shenanigans and timeline shenanigans with the 2 Dooms. But with that, let's get into our first new character.
Here comes a new challenger!
Optimus Prime, the legendary leader of the Autobots, has arrived on the battlefield not just as a hero, but as a vanguard. He ensures to protect the innocent and freedom prevails across all realities. His presence alone inspires his allies and strikes fear into the hearts of his enemies. For his primary attack, Optimus doesn't mess around. He uses his iconic Ion Blaster. I would say that it was probably around, let's say, 35 to probably 45 for a hypothetical ammo range. But if you get too close, you're in for a surprise. He'll seamlessly switch into his melee combo, and it's his iconic Energon Axe. This combo has a bit of a wind-up, but it finishes with a powerful damage boosting hit that sends a clear message that he's not just a leader, but he's a warrior. For his first ability, Transform and Roll Out. Optimus Prime being a Transformer and all, can't just walk everywhere. This ability lets him transform into his classic semi-truck form and gain a huge burst of speed. He can charge forward, dealing damage and knocking back any enemies he hits. This move is perfect for initiating a fight, escaping danger, or getting to a teammate in need of help. For his second ability, I'll be calling Energon Shield. Optimus raises a protective shield made of pure Energon. This shield can block all incoming damage from the front for a short time. It's great for protecting himself and nearby ally from a powerful attack, or for advancing on the enemy lines. It's a key defense tool that allows him to tank damage and lead the charge. For his third ability, United We Stand, Optimus Prime is a leader, not just a fighter. He lets out a powerful rally cry that inspires his teammates. All allies within a certain radius gets a temporary boost for their attack and defense, making them stronger and more resilient for a short duration. This ability is all about teamwork and turning the tide of battle. Now, for his ultimate, using the Matrix of Leadership, Optimus Prime reveals the ancient artifact of his people, the Matrix of Leadership. He channels its immense power to unleash a massive omnidirectional blast to light their darkest day that deals heavy damage to all enemies around him. This also heals all of his allies and grants them a powerful, short-lived damage boost. This ultimate ability is a game changer, capable of wiping out weakened enemies and idolizing your teammates in the middle of a desperate fight. With his ultimate out the way, his passive is called More Than Meets the Eye. Optimus Prime is built for war. He has the innate passive ability that grants him bonus armor, reducing all incoming damage. This makes him naturally more durable than other characters and allows him to absorb punishment for his team, living up to his role as a vanguard. With Optimus out the way, this next character you're going to need to be Invincible is a young hero with a massive heart and an even more massive set of powers. He's a human / Viltrumite, which basically means he's a powerhouse from a race of beings who are kind of like Superman, but more of an attitude and a world-conquering problem. He's my guest pick for a duelist or a vanguard. He works perfectly for both of us, actually. He's going to be a perfect fit because he's a brawler type. He can take a hit just as well as he can dish one out. For his primary attack, Invincible will do a series of fast punches. He will hit his opponent with a flurry of strikes, ending off with a powerful, forward-moving punch that knocks him back. For his first ability, Solar Fair Strike, Invincible charges up a powerful punch. When he releases it, he unleashes a quick, devastating strike that deals a large amount of damage to a single enemy. This is his go-to for busting out damage to a target. For his second ability, Unstoppable Flight, Invincible takes to the sky, becoming completely unstoppable. He flies through the air at incredible speeds, ignoring all crowd control and damage for a brief moment. He can run into any enemy that is in his way, and is perfect for getting out of a bad situation or close to a distance on a high priority target. It's his get out of jail free card. His third ability, Ground Pound, Invincible leaps into the air and comes crashing down, creating a shockwave upon impact. This shockwave deals damage to all enemies in a small area around him. It also briefly knocks them up, leaving them vulnerable to his follow-up attack. Now, his ultimate, Invincible Beatdown. This is it. His ultimate is pure, unadulterated rage. Invincible focuses all of his power being a furious assault for a short duration. A massive increase to his attack, speed, and damage. Every hit lands during this ultimate kills him for a small amount of time, making him nearly impossible to kill. He can't be stopped while this ability is active, so the only thing his opponents can do is try to survive. Now, his passive, Viltrumite Physiology. This one's a no-brainer. Invincible Viltrumite Heritage gives him a natural edge. He has an innate passive that makes him more resilient to all forms of damage. This means he can suck up more punishment than other duelists or vanguards, allow him to stay in the fight longer, to push the front line. He's built to brawl. Now, with Invincible out the way, this next character, make sure you have Pizza, cause it's party time! Michelangelo, the youngest of the Ninja Turtles, and the most laid-back and pizza-obsessed member, and the party dude. I mean, come on, you can't have a brawl this big without a fun-loving party dude himself, am I right? Was this voice line from Spider-Man?
What would help him move faster? Pizza? Turtles love pizza?
I had to include him. I had to at least include one of the turtles, and personally, I had to pick my favorite. So, with that out the way, he's the perfect duelist because he's all about flashing moves and getting up close and personal with his nunchucks. He's not just a hero, he's a whole vibe. For his primary attack, Nunchuck Flurry, Mikey gets in his opponent's face and releases a barrage of super fast multi-hit combos with his nunchucks. He'll start with a few quick strikes and then with a big spinning smash that deals bonus damage and knocks his opponent away. It's a classic for a reason, it just works. For his first ability, Shell Shock Spin, Mikey tucks into his shell and spins like a top, becoming a whirlwind of turtle power. He becomes immune to crowd control and damages any enemies he hits, leaving them dazed and vulnerable. This is his go-to for getting around or getting out of a sticky situation, or even diving headfirst into enemies. For his second ability, Piece of Power Up, you're gonna eat to stay in the fight. Mikey whips out a slice of pizza and takes a big bite, instantly healing himself on a good jumping rope. It's his way of saying, I'll break that before jumping back into the frame. For his third ability, Cowabunga Kick, Mikey jumps high into the air with a loud Cowabunga! And comes crashing down with a powerful kick. The impact creates a shockwave that deals damage to all enemies in a small area and knocks them back. This move is great for disrupting a team fight or finishing off a low health enemy. Now, for his ultimate, Turtle Power! Mikey unleashes his inner party animal for a short duration, giving him a huge boost to his movement, speed, and attack. While this ultimate is active, his nunchucks deal bonus damage, and every enemy he hits with his primary attack has their defense briefly reduced. He's practically a blur on the battlefield, making him almost impossible to pin down. Now, with his ultimate out the way, for his passive, I'll be calling Shell Defense. I mean, it can't get any simpler than that. Mikey's shell is his greatest defense. He takes significantly reduced damage from all attacks that hit him from behind, so no headshots from behind basically. This allows him to retreat from any bad fight, or to reposition himself without worrying about getting blindsided. He got his back covered, and he has your back covered as well. With that, that's about it. I really had a good time making this video, and I hope you guys got to enjoy the 4 videos into one. I know I haven't made any videos in a long time, it's been a while, and don't worry, more videos are on the way. So, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit a like and subscribe, and have a great day. Spread some love, spread some kindness, and always do the right thing. And if you have a dream, you can do it. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Spread some love, spread some kindness, and I hope you all have a great day. See you in the next one.